Why wouldn't Donald Trump be in Kananaskis?
The United States is no longer a democracy. This is an authoritarian regime.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall or a bug in the ear during that conversation. Now, something tells me I think I have a sense as to who they were discussing.
I think that this title slide says it all, why Trump faces a tough room at the G7. That is because the countries outside the U.S. who are part of the G7, those folks, not big fans of Donald Trump. Not big fans at all. No confidence Trump will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. Look at this. All these numbers are at least at 60% or above. You could start off here at the bottom, Japan 61, the UK 62. You go to that next row, Italy 68. We're getting higher and higher and higher. Canada 77. And finally, France 78%. And Germany, 81% of Germans have no confidence that Donald Trump will do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. We're looking at a supermajority in all 6 of these G7 countries besides the U.S. They do not like Donald Trump. They have no confidence in him to do the right thing when it comes to world affairs. And I think that will inform some of the leaders there in those countries going into this G7 summit with Donald Trump. And again, he's just going to face a tough room because those folks in those countries, they don't really like Donald Trump.
This week seems to be going from bad to worse for our sitting president, despite the humiliation he suffered over the weekend at his military parade that would make a graveyard look lively.
Look, I think if this is a president who wanted to honor the military, he wouldn't be proposing 80,000 VA cuts. If this is a president who actually cared about the military, he wouldn't be freezing $2 billion worth of contracts or having a Secretary of Defense leaking attack plans on Signal. In contrast, we had people from Idaho to Ohio to Arkansas to Massachusetts stand up and say that this country, with due process being taken away, with children being separated from their mothers, is not something we stand for. People will not take this lying down, and this is just the beginning.
He met with world leaders at the G7 summit, which involved a less than impressive press conference with the Canadian Prime Minister, which he actually cut short as to spare those around from having to listen to more of the weave.
All Democrat-run cities, and they think they're going to use them to vote. It's not going to happen.
That's it. Thank you. If you don't mind, I'm going to exercise my role, if you will, as a G7 chair, since we have a few more minutes with the president and his team, and then we actually have to start the meeting to address some of these big issues. So, alors merci beaucoup pour vos questions. Thank you. That's it. Thank you very much.
Then after President Trump abruptly left the summit, he of course found time to tear into the French president Macron after the French leader suggested that Trump actually left early to try to negotiate a ceasefire deal between Iran and Israel. Our ever-so-online leader found time during his packed schedule to attack the French president on Truth Social for being, quote, publicity-seeking, and he always gets it wrong. When asked about Trump's sudden exit, Macron told reporters at the summit that, quote, there is an offer that has been made, especially to have a ceasefire and initiate broader discussions. He went on to say, I think this is a very good thing. So now we need to see what the stakeholders will do.
Écoutez, il y a une offre qui a été faite, en effet.
There is an offer that has been made, indeed, of meetings and exchanges. There is an offer that has been made, especially to have a ceasefire and to initiate broader discussions. And I think this is a very good thing. So now we need to see what the stakeholders will do. The president spoke a few minutes ago to say that there were ongoing discussions, which is a good thing. And so if the United States of America can achieve a ceasefire, it is a very good thing, and France will support it, and we wish for it. Then, I say it is absolutely essential that all strikes from both sides against energy, administrative, and cultural infrastructures, and even more so against the civilian population, cease. Nothing justifies this, and they are absolutely intolerable.
Let me tell you that being here with you at invitation of your authorities is for us the occasion to convey a very clear message of French and European solidarity towards Denmark, Greenland, and people of Greenland. A message of respect for your sovereignty and respect for your choices. Choice of security, economic and social development, sustainable monitoring of your natural resources. A message of support for your territorial integrity, your borders. In a few words, everybody think in France, in the European Union, that Greenland is not to be sold, not to be taken.
Now, let's all pause for a second to give irony some time to wipe away her tears at the thought of Donald Trump attacking someone else for being publicity seeking. But as always with our dear leader, he is focused on all the wrong things, taking time to attack another of our allies to distract from the questions we're all asking here, which is what happened to Trump being the peacetime president, especially involving Iran? I mean, didn't you say this in the past, Donald?
Our president will start a war with Iran because he has absolutely no ability to negotiate. He's weak and he's ineffective. I look forward to that. The G7 used to be the G8. Barack Obama and a person named Trudeau didn't want to have Russia in. And I would say that that was a mistake because I think you wouldn't have a war right now if you had Russia in. And you wouldn't have a war right now if Trump were president 4 years ago. But it didn't work out that way. But it used to be the G8. And now it's, I guess, what's that, 8 years ago, it switched over. They threw Russia out, which I claimed was a very big mistake. Even though I wasn't in politics then, I was very loud about it. It was a mistake in that you spend so much time talking about Russia, and he's no longer at the table. So it makes life more complicated. But you wouldn't have had the war. Other than that, I think we're going to accomplish a lot.
Not to forget that during the campaign, Trump attacked Kamala Harris as the candidate who would drag the US into needless wars.
Why wouldn't Donald Trump be in Kananaskis?
The United States is no longer a democracy. This is an authoritarian regime. I think there's an incredible naivety about dealing with Donald Trump. And I'm not blaming anyone for it, but we're dealing with in completely uncharted territory. Donald Trump has made clear again and again that he doesn't believe in the international rule of law. He supported Vladimir Putin relentlessly while undermining the Europeans. He's threatened Canada. He says that we don't have a right to exist. So we're dealing with an autocrat who sees us as a inclusive, diverse, equity promoting country as a threat. I'm not saying that Prime Minister Carney is going to block Donald Trump at the border. I think that would escalate things dramatically. But we need to start talking much more clearly about the threat to democracy that is happening in the United States, because it's a threat to Canada and it's a threat to the world at this point.
Okay, you say we. Does that mean you expect those discussions to be had around the table between all the G7 leaders? Or are you talking about Canadians, while the world's attention is on Kananaskis, to be talking in one voice about this? What are you actually referring to there?
Well, one of the things that's really struck me since Donald Trump became elected, I think ordinary Canadians have stepped up. I think we were sleepwalking. I think Canada was sleepwalking to a mega-like disaster prior to Trump's election. But I talked to people from across Canada. The boycott has been an unprecedented powerhouse in terms of putting pressure on American states and putting pressure on supporters of Trump. I mean, $12 billion in vacation travel gone out the window. American wine sales to Canada down 90-some%. Canadians, I think, understand the threat. But what worries me is that we have this ability of sort of talking about Donald as though it's Donald, who he just says stuff. It's going to go, it's just him being him, when he's been very clear in his attacks on democracy, his attacks on the European allies. What I would like to see is that the Prime Minister works with our European allies. And I'm not here to undermine the Prime Minister at this point. I think it's all hands on deck for Canada. I don't think our premiers are stepping up the way they should be. I think some of them are actively undermining us. But we as a nation really need to be thinking bigger than just saying, well, maybe the budget will have something for Alberta and maybe the budget will have something here. We need to be looking at how does Canada reposition itself in a world of gangster regimes. Maybe some of that will happen at the G6. And I say G6 because Donald Trump will be coming, I think, as a disruptor. We have to start building those links with the other countries.
All while conflict continues to escalate across the world. The war between Ukraine and Russia seems to be getting worse, if anything, and this comes as Donald Trump promised that when elected, he would resolve the matter within 24 hours. Meanwhile, on American soil, people are less than thrilled with the job that Donald Trump has been doing. See any of the latest polls to back up that fact. But amidst all of that, he engages in petty attacks to appear bold and brash to his cult followers, when in reality, as Gavin Newsom put it, there is nothing smaller.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.